Picture this: a house party at a friend's place, the kind of casual Hollywood gathering where actors and producers mingle without cameras or red carpets in sight. Two people meet briefly, exchange a few words, and then go their separate ways, each one returning to their own busy life without giving the moment a second thought. Years pass, and then, almost by accident, those same two people find themselves standing on the same film set, working together on a small, independent project that barely anyone outside the industry would even notice. That quiet, unremarkable reunion would go on to completely reshape both of their lives. This is the story of Macaulay Culkin and Brenda Song, and the anniversary post that just gave fans a rare, deeply emotional look inside one of Hollywood's most private love stories. If the name Macaulay Culkin takes you straight back to childhood memories of a little boy outsmarting two clumsy burglars on Christmas Eve, you are not alone. Culkin became one of the most recognizable child stars in movie history before he had even reached his teenage years, his face plastered across posters and merchandise around the entire world. But what many people do not realize is how dramatically his life has evolved since those days, and just how much quiet stability he has built for himself as an adult, far away from the chaos that often swallows former child stars whole. And at the center of that stability sits one relationship that he has kept mostly private, mostly quiet, and mostly out of the tabloid storm: his 9-year relationship with actress Brenda Song. On June 17th, Culkin took to Instagram to mark their anniversary, and what he wrote was simple, but it hit fans harder than almost anyone expected. He wrote that the day marked something deeply significant for him personally, describing it as 9 years since his life changed forever. Now think about that phrase for a second. This is a man who has experienced more life-altering moments by the age of 10 than most people experience in an entire lifetime. Global fame, constant public scrutiny, a childhood spent almost entirely inside a camera lens, and yet, when given the choice to describe the single moment that changed his life forever, he did not point back to his career. He pointed to the day he met Brenda Song, but he did not stop there. He went on to share something almost mathematically poetic. He said that roughly 1 in every 5 days of his entire life, he has had the honor of waking up next to the woman he calls the love of his life. Sit with that for a moment. That is not just a romantic line thrown together for an Instagram caption. That is a man who has actually sat down and calculated, in his own head, just how much of his existence has now been shaped by this one relationship. 1 in every 5 days. Think about everything that has happened across his entire life. The fame, the headlines, the highs and lows of growing up in front of millions of strangers. And somehow, this relationship has occupied a fifth of all of it. That is not a small thing. That is something close to the center of his entire identity. And then comes the part of the post that really caught fire online, the part that gave this story its emotional core. Culkin admitted that he had one regret, just one. And it was this: that they simply have not had more time together. No mention of mistakes, no mention of conflict, no subtle jab, no veiled complaint hidden inside a sweet caption the way so many celebrity posts tend to operate. Just a pure, simple wish for more time. It is one of those statements that feels almost universal, because anyone who has ever loved someone deeply understands that exact feeling, the sense that no matter how much time you get, it will never quite feel like enough. He closed the post by simply thanking her for everything, a short, quiet ending to a message that clearly came from a place of real, lived gratitude rather than performance. Now here is where their story gets even more interesting, because their beginning was anything but a Hollywood fairy tale setup. Macaulay and Brenda first met at the home of mutual friend Seth Green, the kind of casual, low-key encounter that happens constantly in the entertainment industry and almost never leads anywhere significant. They met, they moved on with their lives. Nothing happened. It was not until years later, when fate placed them both on the set of Seth Green's small 2019 independent film Changeland, that their connection actually had the chance to grow into something real. There was no instant spark, no dramatic love-at-first-sight moment splashed across magazine covers. Instead, there was simply time, proximity, and the slow, steady kind of familiarity that often produces far stronger relationships than anything built on instant chemistry alone. From there, things moved with real intention, In 2021, the couple welcomed their first child together, a son they named Dakota Song Culkin. And this name carries enormous emotional weight because Dakota was the name of Macaulay's late sister, who tragically passed away years earlier in a car accident. By choosing to give his son that name, Culkin found a quiet, deeply personal way to carry his sister's memory forward into the next generation of his family, weaving grief and love together in a single name. Less than a year after their first son was born, the couple became engaged, a clear sign that their bond was only strengthening under the weight of new responsibility rather than buckling beneath it. And then in 2022, they welcomed their second son, Carson, completing their small, close-knit family. What makes this story stand out in today's celebrity landscape is exactly what is missing from it. There is no scandal here. No public fallout, no dramatic headlines, no messy split rumors circulating every few months. Just two people quietly building a life together, mostly outside of the spotlight, choosing to share only small, meaningful glimpses with the public on occasions that genuinely matter to them, like this anniversary. For fans who grew up alongside Macaulay Culkin, watching him on screen as a mischievous, fearless kid taking on home invaders with booby traps and pure chaos, this moment offers something quietly beautiful. The boy from the movies has grown into a father of two, a partner of 9 years, and a man who, when given the chance to speak from the heart, chose gratitude over grandeur. He did not write about himself. He wrote about her. He did not focus on what they had already accomplished together. He focused on simply wanting more time. And in a world full of carefully curated celebrity posts designed for maximum engagement, that kind of raw, simple honesty is exactly why this story struck such a deep chord with everyone who came across it.